Well, folks, I'm in shock. The All Blacks have just been absolutely hammered at Wellington. 43 points to 10, 6 tries to 1, scoreless second half from the ABs. The Boks in the second half absolutely run riot. Wellington sucks. Let's not play there anymore. That is the record win for any team over the All Blacks on New Zealand soil. That is a bonus point win by some margin. That is the Freedom Cup retained by South Africa. That is number one in the world rankings regained by South Africa. That is some frustration from last week unleashed, I would imagine. The All Blacks had no answer for the Boks in that second half. The scrum was dominant. The line out for the All Blacks was struggling. They could not catch a high ball to save their lives. The Boks contested that area of the game very well. And to be fair, the writing was on the wall in the first half, but the Boks couldn't catch the ball. Once they started catching the ball, good things happened. And that's despite the fact that they lost how many plays at half? They lost Diacha on 9 minutes, Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu on 18. They lost Reinach on 32, although he came back because he passed his HIA. And they lost Fassi on 37. Half the subs came on before halftime. The All Blacks did lose Noah Hotham, to be fair, at the same time as Diacha. But goodness me, the Boks bench was way more early brought on than the All Blacks one. I will try to gather my thoughts to talk about some key events and stats from that game. Welcome along to all of you guys who only come along when the All Blacks lose. There's a few years, that's all right. Welcome. We welcome you here. But yeah, this is not just a loss. This is historic. It'll be embarrassing in terms of some of the headlines and whatnot tomorrow. Like Fozzie in his time with the ABs gathered some pretty, undesirable records, but he doesn't have this one. This one has been broken, and by some margin. So Russie, from his perspective, may not have got that Eden Park record broken, but he's got a different record, which is, I don't know about equally as sweet, but still pretty bloody sweet. It was a fiery start from the South Africans, if we can get into the game. But honestly, the knock-ons were killing. You had like Fassi and Hooker and Feinberg and Ngomazulu all involved from the start of the match, like where the All Blacks couldn't secure the kickoff. South Africa had a chance to go for touch when the All Blacks conceded a penalty, but they lost the line out. And I was like, well, there's one chance missed. Because I felt like this was the key last week, where the All Blacks took their chances and the Boks had them but didn't take them. I was like, wow, counting. This is one chance missed for the Boks, an early chance. They had another penalty, but Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu missed touch. 2 chances. I'm counting them. I'm like, South Africa, you're missing chances again. You're doing the same thing as last week. Then Diacha and Hotham go off with their injuries. Sasha, as I said, is not too long later. So Mani Libbok, much maligned Mani Libbok, who I like. I love the fact that he rips the ball around. I just don't trust him with the goal kicking. But even his bloody goal kicking was largely very good tonight. Yeah, so disruption, I guess, and some missed chances for South Africa. First South African scrum feed, and they got advantage from it, which was ominous as well, because that's exactly what happened last week. Sasha put a dink through for Colby, and Jordie Barrett had a miracle tackle play on Colby to stop him from forcing that ball. That was a hell of a defensive play from Jordie Barrett. So the All Blacks by this point have been camped in their own half, but they are hanging on, and I'm counting them. Missed chance from the line-out that you mucked up. Missed chance from missing touch. Miracle play from Jordie Barrett. Your missed chances are starting to add up. But boy, did they get him in the second. Back-to-back advantages. South Africa really wanted to go for a try. It looked like Achia Snyman had got that first try of the game, but it got TMO'd for a wee knock-on from Cobus Reinach in the build-up. I think that one was a fair call. It's one of those ones where you kind of wish they'd spotted it live. You don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of looking to every angle, but the TMO, I think, comes to the correct call. And then the All Blacks get their best period of the game because they've had nothing going. Cross kick from Bodie Barrett to Simon Parker, of all people, the big number 6. And they get back the other way, and it's maybe the most fluid I've seen the All Blacks attack this entire rugby championship. They were going right side of the field, left side of the field. The hands were nice. The backs and the forwards were all getting involved. It was very sweet. It is finished by the debutant Leroy Carter. Vai with the final pass to him. 7 points to 0. Despite the fact the All Blacks have been largely camped down their own end of the field, they get the first points on the board. And I'm thinking again, this is last week on repeat. The Boks have had chances and fluffed them. The All Blacks have had one chance and scored a try from it. It feels very, very familiar. Then Reinach has another knock on. Not too long later, although there was probably a wee sneaky hand in there from an AB's player. I didn't see whose hand it was, but it looked like it was an All Blacks hand, which caused them to knock it on. There's a bit of handbags. But if it was an All Blacks hand, there was a bit of karma for it, because not too long later, Proctor throws a no-look pass, and Cheslin Colby sticks out the one hand, which is it's a risky play these days, because if you watch the Pumas in Australia game, you would have seen there's a couple of yellow cards in that game for that very play. But he sticks it out, and the ball sticks in his hand. It's a hell of an intercept, length of the field, 7 points apiece. And that's just as the All Blacks were looking to start to build up as well. So, as I said, maybe a bit of karma if that was a wee sneaky bit of dark arts breakdown work, but 7 points apiece. South Africa did concede a penalty at the breakdown, which the All Blacks opted to shoot for 3, which is not what the Boks had been doing. The Boks had been going for tries. 10 points to 7, 28 minutes in. That's the final scoring for the ABs. That doesn't happen. We're not even half an hour into the game. Troubling. South Africa did get their offload game going. They were getting some great go football. The forwards as well, like Jasper Wiese was getting involved. Oxenche was getting involved. Again, it ends in a knock-on. And I'm losing count of how many fingers I've got to count all these bloody knock-ons from South Africa. They did concede a penalty on attack the box. Bodie had a great kick when nobody was home. From that resulting penalty, he took it quickly, found a great bit of territory. The All Blacks lost the line out, so it's our turn to kind of miss a chance. South Africa had another attack on the right wing. Willems' final pass to Colby was poor. It was just slightly behind him, so it ends in a knock-on, and it's ultimately another missed chance. So we go into the halftime sheds with this narrow New Zealand lead, 10 points to 7. I'm looking at the numbers. The territory is horrendous from an All Blacks point of view. 25%. The Boks have had 75% of the game down the All Blacks end. Like, the All Blacks have got the possession numbers, 53-47, but how much of that possession is work through a few phases and kick the bloody thing clear because we're stuck down our own end? It was troubling. There was an equally extreme stat from the Springboks, which was the knock-on count was already at 11 by half-time. I looked up last year's stats for the Boks. Their worst game that I had on record from last year, and an entire game, was 11 knock-ons. So not only is this game bad for knock-ons for them, it is as bad as their worst game from an entire 80 in the entirety of last year. So that's next level bad. That's how many chances the Boks were blowing. Just couldn't catch the ball. Penalty count was pretty low. 4 against the Boks, 3 against the ABs. Relatively low in the scheme of things. Second half starts. There's an early scrum. It's like a minute into the second half, and Rassi pulls the pin on the props, replaces them. The New Zealand commentary team, if you didn't have them, couldn't understand what he's doing. Why would you only bring on the props after a minute? It's not the clock that matters. It is the fact that it is the first scrum. It's obvious. Even I can see that. He wants these guys gas tank 100% full, all their focus on this first scrum. Does it pay off? Well, you better believe it does. They demolish the All Blacks at scrum. They get an advantage. From the resulting advantage, Kolisi has a massive carry right up the guts. Then they get a wide pass from, I think it was Andre Esterhuizen out to Cheslin Colby. And it's try time in the corner. Marnie Lubbock with the conversion from the corner as well. 14 points to 10. The Boks are in front. Obviously, they will not relinquish that lead. They will only extend it. All Blacks did swap their props immediately in reply, but again, it's not just before a scrum, so it's different. It's a reactionary thing. It's not a proactive thing to try and force something at the scrum. And I don't think it's going to make a difference anyway, because the replacement props, apart from the odd scrum where the Boks got pinged, were largely getting dominated. Vai got penalty conceded for a no-arms shot on Colby. There was a really long stoppage for that one, and then Libok slotted the resulting penalty, which made it 17-10. And it was that score for a while. 17-10 felt like this is doable to get it level, but it didn't feel likely. It felt like if the Boks can take this beyond a score, like scoring twice is going to be tough. Like, we haven't scored since the 28th minute. We're already into the second half. We haven't really looked like scoring. So, you can get an intercept. You can get a try against the runner play. You can get turnover ball. You still got that chance. But 2-score lead felt tough. New Zealand did have a knock-on after a few chances. As I said, the replacement props still conceded penalties. They got pinged. And then the best chance, I feel like, for New Zealand to get back into that, let's get it level, reset the game, was on 58 minutes, attacking line out, down the box end, obstruction at the line out, like a soft penalty. You can't be doing that. It is the ultimate mist of missed chances. And then from there, it just goes calamitous, embarrassing. From a New Zealand perspective, magnificent, like fluid, powerful. From a Bok perspective, 5 meter line out New Zealand, stolen by Norkia. And then Willemse somehow, how the hell did he do this? Like, he takes the ball from Mani Libok, like above his shoulder. He's having to kind of arch his back to get to the bloody thing. It's not a good pass. It's not the crisp pass that you can hit the line at and just be fluid. And yet somehow he manages to power through over the try line. 24-10. Ethan Hooker has a massive line break from his own goal area. Mani Libok with the cross kick to Peter Steph Dutoy. It is bonkers stuff. Then he offloads from the deck to Quacka Smith. Try time. Like, at that point, I know it's game over. Like, with the previous try, I thought it's probably game over. At this point, it was definitely game over. But the South Africans didn't know it was game over, because then Snyman got one, which I kind of thought was the icing on the cake. Because he just like galloped onto it. Nobody bloody tackled him. I mean, he's a pretty agile and, like, I don't know, he's a good lock around the park. He's not lumbering. He can get the big limbs moving. That made it 36-10. But again, they weren't done, because they had one more. The All Blacks did blow one to get a consolation where Will Jordan just grounded the ball short. Credit to Grant Williams for making that tackle on him, because he's not even bloody. Cheslin Colby's gone off. Grant Williams having to play on the wing. I know he's quick, but he's not a bloody winger by trade, but he still makes a hell of a cover tackle on Will Jordan, who's a proven international try scorer, to keep him short. And then Willemse just glides through the All Blacks defense. That man Williams again out on the wing with the kind of gas and the shimmy steps. And then Esterhuizen powers over for a 43-10 scoreline. Genuinely quite incredible. Incredible. Do you want some stats? Run meters finish 622. How many do the All Blacks have? 500, 400, 300, 260. 260. All Blacks lineouts at 69%, which is pretty bad. Like, you probably want to be above 85. 75 we would have taken. The Boks are at 78, which is, again, by no means flash. Malcolm Marx mucked up that really early one, but, with a bit of overthrow. Possession finishes slightly with the ABs. Territory pretty comfortably with the South Africans. That's similar to last week. South Africans more defenders beaten, unsurprisingly. 46 defenders beaten equals 46 All Blacks missed tackles. Like, that's bonkers. It's worse tackle percentage than what the Boks had at Eden Park last week. For me, that was like the key thing for the Boks loss last week was the missed tackles. This week it's the All Blacks missing tackles. But it's not just that. The line out, the scrum, there's a lot going on. Proctor for the All Blacks beat 6 defenders. He looked quick as well. Geordie Barrett, 12 from 14 tackles, including the miracle play on Colby. But honestly, Colby, 119 meters, which you consider the All Blacks had 260. 119 for one play is not bad. 3 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten, 2 tries. Willemser, 90 meters, 6 defenders beaten. Ethan Hooker, 99 meters, 5 defenders beaten. Yeah, the stats go on. But wow, that is a hell of a scoreline. And I've seen a lot of firsts in my time in these years as an All Blacks fan. I've seen us lose to Ireland for the first time. I've seen us lose that home series against Ireland. I've seen us lose against Argentina for the first time. I've seen us look at the Twickenham loss against the Box. That was massive, but this is nuts. This is mind-boggling. So, 43-10. Congratulations, Box. Razor's got some work to do with the ABs, lads. If you guys would be so kind, subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor. Even if you're just here to check out the All Blacks lost videos. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for coming along. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See ya.